Catting and chatting, doing a first for the channel, a year-end gear review, I guess we could call it that.
Season end, I would say.
Season end. Well, today I went off by myself trying to do a fishing video and try to do the food chain challenge, and I caught nothing. Not a single fucking thing.
Jack and shit.
The good news is Jay did get his renovation stuff, some of it done. He now has a working toilet.
Yeehaw.
No more peeing in bottles for you, sir. All right. This is the Ugly Stik Cursed Rod. The lovely 7-foot shit slinger of crap that never seems to ever catch a fish unless I'm not recording or it's the biggest fish I've ever caught.
Or it's something other than a catfish.
Yeah, you all know the story about that. The rod, have no complaints about the actual rod other than the fact it doesn't catch catfish. The reel on this thing, on the other hand, Jay and I ventured to the Catfish conference.
February 2020.
Yeah. Decided to, buy us something nice. So we went to the Kastking booth and we got us some poles and rods. We're like, all right, we'll give them a shot. And this is the Rover 70. And this thing casts amazing.
When it casts.
It casts. And I'm going to try to demonstrate to you what I'm talking about. You see, when you press the button, right there, it should stay engaged.
Well, it doesn't go
but it's not. It's not. Now, it's disengaged. Now it's disengaged. And you can cast just fine. No problem. But
the kicker when you cast.
When you're casting and slinging some heavier leads and it doesn't stay engaged and comes unengaged or disengaged, or the actual line becomes engaged, the line goes taut, snaps your line, and you either lose all of your stuff
or it ends up 10 feet in front of you,
or you end up looking like a complete and total jackass. I don't know why it does it.
I think a lot of it is there's a lot of weight in the handle, and when you go to cast, the handle maybe slings around, and that's all it takes. It's just the slightest.
Yeah, because like boom. You can feel that it's engaged. You can feel the teeth on the actual winding be engaged. But if it's not, it snaps down. So you have to be careful about where you are in the position of the handle when you're about to cast this. Otherwise, no complaints so far. I mean, it's a little wonky when I got it out of the box. I had to mess with it quite a bit.
We had to adjust the shit out of it.
Oh yeah. I don't know if it was that the faces on these sides were too tight from the factoria or not tight enough, because when we first got it they were about to fall off, so we tightened them down. But when you tighten them down, it puts a lot of weight on the spool, and the one side was so tight in order to keep it on there that it was actually turning the spool inside, and it wouldn't, the auto wind would constantly try to go to that one side over and over again.
Well, that, and there was, I remember when we first got out of the box and we were looking at it before we get ready to use it this year, and he kept saying there's an issue with it, and we looked at it. When it came factory adjusted, there was a gap between the inner side plate here and where the edge of the spool is. There was probably a 1/16 or almost probably an 1/8 inch gap in there. So that was an issue we had to sort out, and it was a matter of just loosening one knob, tightening the other knob on the other side, because it does have dual adjustments on it, which is nice.
You know, I love the Kastking rod, the reel, the 70 at least. The only problem I have is this handle is way too big. I mean, I have meat hooks, and that thing is big. Even
the size of a golf ball.
I mean, that's huge. I mean, you like to have a little gravity in your hands, but I mean, come on, man. That's a little much. You're using this, you know, I know it's my first season with the rod.
No, the reel, not the rod.
Or, yeah, that's true. It's my third
season.
Fourth season. It's my fourth season with the rod. My first with the reel, because I took this off of the Kastking rod, the 9-footer, and put it on this to try to see if that would break the curse. And it did, temporarily. But the reel, have no problems with. After having made the adjustment and learning that the gear has to be set and you have to be careful where this handle is before you cast. Because I've broke off 3 like 25 yards of line, losing my entire rig only like 3 or 4 times.
Numerous baits.
Yeah. The other problem with this is, and we'll get to that when we cover Jay's. I think his is a 60.
Yeah, mine is a 60 series Rover.
And mine had the issue for until we made that first adjustment of actually getting this gap taken off. And that's where when you would cast, if you look down here on this post, on your cast, oh, it just did it again. Click the button, doesn't go down. There, see, did it again. And again. And again. And again.
It's got a magic spot where it wants
see,
to be.
And now I clicked it, it'll stay in. That is the best demonstration of what this thing does all the time. You just need to really make sure that it's set. I don't like when it's late at night, it's dark, you're fishing by disco lights on the end of your bobber, you got a lantern out. You don't want to be questioning, is this thing set? Is it going to actually cast? Because, you know, if it catches in the wrong spot, you're ruining your rod. You're snapping a tip. I mean, who knows? But like I was saying, sometimes the line actually gets stuck down underneath this post. Around the like this for the auto wind, for the auto level.
The pawl where it goes into.
And this is actually happens to Jay quite a bit here recently. As it gets stuck here, it catches, and you'll hear it snap the line. And then Jay's missing, about $5 worth of tackle in the middle of the lake. I mean, those of you who watched one of our previous episodes, Jay actually got his bobber back.
But the 4-ounce sinker, pyramid, and the 8/0 Gamakatsu circle hook gone, and them 8/0 Gamakatsus are
not cheap.
No, it's almost $6 for a pack of 5 or 6. So yeah, you're looking at $1 a hook, and then them sinkers, shit, them 4-ounce pyramid sinkers where I bought them at, because the only place around here that sells those that big is Fisherman's Quarters in Dayton. The 4-ouncers are $3 or $4 a piece. So yeah, I lost $4 or $5 worth of tackle with the
with every time that's broke.
The Ugly Stik catfish rods actually has a real nice, if you can see it, yeah, a catfish.
I do like this rod a lot.
A solid beef rod.
It's got an amazing action through the spine. I've never questioned, you know, is this fish too big with this thing? And it's got a fast enough tip that's just got such a nice action on the tip that you can actually see. I mean, I saw bass nipping at the bait good enough to where I could catch them repeatedly. So it's an amazing rod for that. I would never tell anybody never buy one of these rods, because the rod itself is fucking amazing.
Especially for the cost. It's
yeah.
a good budget.
I mean, they're
starter rod.
Oh,
because that was your first cat rod that you bought to get into it.
Even getting into the sport, even now, after years of trying to catch big fish, going out day after day, week after week, year after year, I've never worried about the rod, because if it breaks, which they'll all fail eventually, it's dead cheap to replace. I'm not worried about it. The reel, on the other hand, I mean, this reel was $60. I mean,
but that was at the conference,
and that's at the conference.
Let me look up on Amazon where I normally get my Kastking stuff at. I buy a lot of Kastking. I think it's good gear. This was an experiment. This is the first time we ever used the bait cast reels. We saw them at the conference. We said, hey, what the hell, let's try it. You're one of us folks that's on a limited budget and you can't afford to drop $100 on an Abu Garcia. I would definitely suggest the Kastking reels, except for this one. It's got some issues that should be worked out at the factory, I would say, or should I say
quality control.
Yeah, quality control, research and development.
I mean, I ain't got nothing with the quality control. I don't know, because I've only got one. I don't know whether this is just a lemon reel and it's just fucked up from the factory and was missed, or this is indicative of all their rod or reels. Because, like I said, I have one, Jay has one, and both of us have had similar problems. This one has, like I said, the disengage to actually cast doesn't work. But one shining thing I do have to say about this reel.
The clicker.
The clicker. Oh my God, guys. The clicker on this thing is so nice.
I mean, smooth, but it's loud, which is kind of hard to get with a lot of reels. A lot of them are either smooth and quiet, or they're loud and it takes a good yank to get the spool to go. I mean, if you loosen the side knobs up, it had no tension on the spool. The other one, it was disengaged. It would still take a significant pull on the line or a bite to get the clicker to engage, because it's so fucking stiff. But this reel, see, JD bought it at the conference for $60. It's on Amazon right now for $69.99.
Okay.
And if you shop around, it does come in a left hand also. And they now have a Kastking Rover 80. And it's got the same big ass handle on it though. And it's $74.99.
Well, there you guys have it. I mean, for the price I paid for it, I mean, it's a cheaper reel as far as bait casting, semi decent. It's not the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive. It's like mid-grade, I'd call it. The only problems are what I said before is, I mean, they need to figure out, they need to change the handle because it's not good in the hand. I'm going to be changing it out. We're going to be hot rodding this reel. Look for that in the next couple of videos. I'm going to be ordering some parts for this and hot rod it.
Paddle handle.
Oh yeah, I'm going to make this thing to the way I like it. I'm going to take parts out, change parts. It's going to be Frankenstein, man. It's going to be great. But right off the hop, I wanted to test it for a year or a season of catfishing. I mean, it's a great clicker. I wish Abu's were as solid as the clicker on this.
Yeah, you'll show your Abu later.
In one of our next videos, I'm going to be going over my other reel, which is the Abu. and the Kastking 9-foot rod. We'll go over that in one of our later videos. But thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you hook them deep and keep them wet.